Pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. No more change, no more holding myself back. Answering my purpose now. Embracing life lost and all. Today's a new day. Let the old pass away. No more limits, only say. Pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. Conversations are.
Hey, beautiful people. It is about that time. First and foremost, welcome to the season 3 season finale of What's in Your Cup Conversations. I am none other than your favorite inspirational speaker, your life balance and accountability coach, your accountability coach and strategist, Consuela Nicole. And I am super excited about today's show, not just because it's the season finale of season 3, but because the guest we have on today, y'all, we were supposed to have him on 3 months ago. But technology was like, no, we're not going to do that. But technology is a lot. You know, we're going to always pivot and do some things around here because that is exactly what we do. So in the midst of doing this, won't you go ahead and share this out? Because as you know, we are live on a few different platforms, including Facebook as well as YouTube. And as you know, on What's in Your Cup Conversations, we're not just talking about the physical cup of what you're sipping on, but we will talk about that as well. However, we're talking about your mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual cup, right? Because as you know, we talk about this every single time. We live in a society of cancel culture, and don't say that and don't say that out loud. Don't tell nobody that you're not feeling right. Don't do this and don't do that. We talk about the beginning of someone's story, and we talk about the glitz, the glam, and the highlights. Not enough people talk about the hills and the valleys and the mountains that they went through. Not too many talk about, what they had to dump out of their cup, how they battled their bad days, how they battled their dark days, how they got through those days, and how they still maintain. So that is what we are going to talk about here today. And that's what we've been talking about for the last 3 seasons. But tonight's conversation is going to it's going to hit the trenches real hard for a lot of people. And we're going to tell you about that. However, before we go any further, before we get our guest on, 2 things. What's in Your Cup Conversations? Yes, this is the end of season 3. We are preparing for season 4. So first thing, you want to be a guest on season 4? Make sure you go to the website of what'sinyourcupconversations.com, submit your information, and someone from the team will get back with you as soon as possible and make sure all of your information is received and get you scheduled for season 4, right? Also, in the interim, if there is something or a topic or someone you feel should be on the show, and you don't necessarily want to fill out the form or you don't know their information to fill out the form, send us an email, smile@consuelanicole.com. Let us know there's a special topic that you want us to bring on or someone that you feel should be a guest on What's in Your Cup Conversations, and we will reach out on your behalf. And remember, all of our conversations is definitely the answer to someone else's prayers. What else is going on with What's in Your Cup Conversations? What's in Your Cup Conversations is on the move, y'all. We are showing up at your event. We are showing up at your organizations. We are showing up at your brick and mortar. We are showing up at your businesses and your functions. So if you have an event that's coming up, no matter the location, we will travel to you. And I say we because there's a team of us, right? This is no longer a one-woman show. There is a team of us that comes about and come out and do all the things for you and spotlight what you're doing and spotlight your testimony and your story. So let us know what's going on in your community, what's going on in your zip code, because now your community and your zip code become our neighborhood, right? That's how we change lives, one life and one zip code at a time. And if you don't talk about it, how is the world supposed to know what's going on, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna stop talking. Well, at least for right now, just for a little bit, because my guest is gonna come on. We have a whole lot to talk about, and I do want to know what's in his cup, his physical cup, but then his mental and spiritual cup as well. So make sure you go ahead and share this out, no matter if you're on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, wherever you may be watching this at, go ahead and share this out and go ahead and drop a comment or two or three in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from, because what I have come to know, we have family, we have listeners all over the world, because the things we talk about is not centralized in one state, in one zip code, in one area, in one neighborhood. So thank each and every one of you for your continued support. But let me go ahead and talk about our guest, because I see he is ready. Today, we are talking about none other than Mr. Ray Butler. Ray Butler is a man on a relentless, and I say relentless, pursuit of God's heart. He's grounded in faith, fueled by purpose, and led by love. He is a devoted husband and a proud father of two. He embodies what it means to lead both at home and in the community, y'all. He was raised in Inglewood, California. Ray's journey is one of resilience and self-definition. As a only child, right? You know, that only child mentality type of deal. We're going to talk about that. But the kicker is, Ray also grew up in a fatherless home. He transformed what he lacked into what he now gives: guidance, presence, and strength. Once a highly recruited athlete without a father figure to push him, Ray became that source of accountability and encouragement for others. So today, Ray wears many, many hats, right? Just a few of them. Besides a husband, besides a father, he's a coach, he's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he is chef, y'all. So we're going to see what his favorite meal is. Each role is rooted in his passion for pouring into other people and helping everyone grow. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome to What's in Your Cup Conversations, none other than Mr. Teddy Ray. How you
doing? What's going on, man? Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you, sir. Right? It's different when you hear your own by your red, ain't it?
Man, I appreciate that. That was hey. First of all, you didn't let me know. I got to do my homework, man. You doing it big, man.
Man, look. Between what you have going on over there in the Inglewood and in the West Coast, and what I'm doing now in the Central, we gonna connect midway, and we gonna connect it all, because that's what we do. But you know, LA is gonna always be home for me. I'm a West Coast girl all day long, so don't get that part twisted.
Inglewood, California, man. Shout out to Inglewood, California.
Yeah. First of all, I'm loving this look, sir. I'm a little underdressed. So look, do I need to come back and do a do-over? I'm just saying.
Wait. Well, I appreciate that. You know what? First of all, can we take a sip? Can we take a sip before I say something, man?
Yes, please do. Mm-hmm.
First of all, shout out to my pastor, Pastor Pierre Codillo, Church of God, House of Refuge, Church of God in Christ in Los Angeles, California. This right here is me being obedient to what my leader told me to do.
Okay.
He stated that now it's time to start being professional. So this is what the professionalism looks like right here. It's my brand now. I'm Teddy Ray, and Ray Butler is being looked at. So I want to make sure that I am pleasing to God in everything that I do. So yeah, shout out to Pastor Pierre Codillo, man. He told me to step my game up. So this is what I've been doing, man.
Okay, Pastor, say his name one more time. And which church is it?
Pastor Pierre Codillo of House of Refuge, Church of God in Christ in Los Angeles, California, with my First Lady Siobhan Codillo as well.
Awesome. You know, we always have to give homage and give, love to the leaders in the ministry field first and foremost, right? Because they do a lot, right? They take on a lot. They take on our issues, and I'm gonna call them issues. They take on our issues, they take on our challenges, and they take on the challenges of the world, but they still have their own challenges that they have to, that they have to work through and push through. So, thank you very much, to the House of Refuge and their leadership team. And you're right, because Brand, for me, Branding in your name is everything because that's who you are. That's what goes into the room before you step into the room. So I am loving this. Come on now, Teddy Ray. But you know what? Let me back up. Let me back up just a tad bit, right? I read your bio. I did. I read your bio, but you already know how I get down. I read your bio and introduced you to the world, to those that already know you and then those that don't know you. But how do Teddy Ray wake up and introduce himself to Teddy Ray every morning to get his day going?
Well, first of all, before I even step foot to the ground off my bed, I thank God for allowing me to have another day, another
Man,
day. And then once I go into, go into the bathroom and then brush my teeth, I look at myself and I say, you are somebody. You are
mhm.
relevant. You are needed. Let's go ahead and be great. Let's go ahead and be great all over again. So that's my daily routine every single morning is thanking God for waking me up to see another day to be great again
Okay.
and be a voice for the voiceless. That's what I am. I'm just trying to be the voice and trying to be the bridge, the gap for the bridge, as well.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
people that's hurting like myself, people that's hurting like myself,
Right.
that went through those things and finally can feel like they're relevant.
But you know what, Teddy? You said something big. You said, you want to be that bridge for those that's hurting. That's a big, tall order. That's a big order. What made you feel, or what gave you? Because it has to be more than a feeling. What was it that gave you that sense of purpose to say, I need to be that bridge for those like you, as you mentioned, that are hurting or those that are in need?
I had to stop putting myself first and start thinking about others. That selfish spirit is a lot of people kryptonite. They always feel like they have to put themselves first sometimes, but sometimes you have to put your people's that are hurting. You have to be there for them, man, because you could be that one person that saves a life. you
Amen.
know
Yeah.
just like with your platform, your amazing platform. I'm pretty sure there's people that came on your show, and after your show they probably have been so healed, so inspired, to keep on doing this thing called life because of
Right.
your presence, because of the platform that you have, like myself, is a safe haven for people to come on and share their story. So this is what I mean when being selfless, being
Hmm.
selfless for others. It
Right.
allows them to grow, and sometimes it is kind of challenging because when you're allowing yourself to be there for someone else, you start opening up old wounds that you used to go
Ooh,
through.
baby. Tell you, tell me about it. Tell me about it. But you know what? You telling the truth right now because I do, and not just from my platform and what I share, but I
Mm,
get a lot of messages even after the show of people that says thank you for sharing that story because that just talked me off the bridge, right? That is
yeah.
my story.
Mm,
I didn't know other people were dealing with. So we really don't know what people are praying for,
mhm.
right? But the one thing I say a lot, and I tell different people this, while you're holding your tongue about your testimony and your story,
Yeah.
you're stopping someone else's blessing and survival, because how you made it through may be the answer to that next person that's standing on that bridge on how they need to step back off of that bridge. So if you keep your mouth closed, you're not hurt. You hurting more than yourself, because we are in that society right now. Oh, don't talk about that,
Yeah.
right? Why you say
Yeah.
that out loud,
Yeah.
right? You don't need to say that out loud. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
People need to understand that I had a bad day, but this is how I made it through,
Yeah.
right? But we're
Yeah.
gonna talk. But before I have to ask Teddy, because
You
this
did
because what, and
good.
I say this because this question came up to me a few days ago. First of all, what's in your cup right now?
Ice water.
I'm gonna let you have that ice water. Right now, I actually have iced tea and ginger ale. right? And I brought this up because we're going to talk about judgment here just for a moment. I posted a picture on social media a few days ago, and I was told, you need to take that down. People don't need to know what you're drinking on. Why? I'm human and I'm grown. This is not for everybody, but if I want to partake in something every blue moon, I've made that right? And I understand. Somebody said, but what if people are going through, or, they're trying to sustain? People are trying to abstain from drugs. They're trying to abstain from alcohol. They're trying to abstain from sex. They're trying to abstain from love. Heck, people are trying to abstain from God. And I talk about him every day, right?
Come on. Yeah.
I do not crack a mic. I do not get on the stage without talking about my God first, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have his voice.
Come on now, don't you speak me up now. Come on.
I'm just saying, if I was hiding anything, I would hide myself, because as far as society is concerned, I'm a single woman. I'm a single Black woman. I'm a single Black plus size woman, right? I'm a single Black plus size woman that raised a son and a daughter. I got all these strikes against me. I'm supposed to be in the house hiding under the bed and all these other things. But God, that's all I'm gonna say. But we're gonna reel it in, because part of your story,
Don't do that. I'm trying to contain myself. Don't you do that now.
Oh, don't tame it. Let it go. This is Teddy Ray Butler. This is the season finale of season 3. Going out with a bang. I would rather have no other with me, sir. First and foremost, for a few different reasons. For one, of who you are. 2, your story and your testimony hit home for me. You know why, and most of the people know why, so we're gonna bring that up. But you're also part of my home. Now, I didn't go to Morningside. My mama said, we leaving the city. We taking you over to Upland. My mother used to work in the office at Morningside. She was like, oh no. I know what they do at the school.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, she on here now. Hey, mama. But,
shout out to mom, man. Shout out to mom, the fellow monarch.
Yes. Yeah, she was like, you will not be attending Morningside. I was like, oh, okay. So, but let me tell you, right? Uniquely awesome. I see you. Thank you for joining in. Oh, wait a minute. This your queen, right? That's your queen right there, ain't it?
Trina.
Yes, she is. I see you, Mrs. Butler. Thank you for joining in. So let me ask you this. Part of your story is that you grew up in a fatherless home. There are so many versions, right, in situations of a fatherless home. Can you tell us what your fatherless home was like? So
growing up in Inglewood, California in the 80s was very rough. It was just chaotic as far as, gangs, violence. It was just rough. And, my mom, she was the breadwinner of the home. So my dad was, I guess you can say, the stay-at-home dad. So he was supposed to be, the person helping me with my homework, the person that, was supposed to take me to my practices, go to my practice, support me, feed me and all that. But my dad, he pretty much just, once I got home from school, he made sure that I was fed, and then he left. I had to pretty much find myself my own way to practice, which thank God at the time, all I had to do was hop a fence and I'm at my high school from my home.
Right.
My dad, growing up, my dad never said the word he loves me. I've never heard that at all in my life until maybe about 2-3 years ago. My father told me as he ended the call that he loved me, and I was froze because I looked at the phone to see if this was actually my dad that I was talking to, because I'm like, I've never heard this before, from my dad at all. And now you wait till I'm almost 50 and you want to tell me that you love me. So, I didn't, I wasn't doing it just out of spite or anything. I didn't even respond. Yeah, I just let him say he loved me, and then we hung up. I really feel now, since my mom passed away in 2018, being that I'm the only child, I feel like when my mom passed, that both of my parents passed. My dad is still living, but I personally don't feel like he even exists to me, to be perfectly honest with you. My mom put me in sports just to keep me out of gangs. And she also did that just to make my dad feel like he had to be an active and present father in supporting me. But my dad didn't realize that I was good in sports until he was in the weight room at Darby Park in Inglewood, California. And his buddies was talking about me in an article. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, that's my son."
Oh,
And,
wow.
and he came home and he told me that his buddies was talking about me and whatnot. And I thought then that he would support. I thought it would be a click, but as I kept playing sports, this was when it really hit me. It was a big thing for me. I thought my dad would finally show up for the biggest thing in my life at that time. Is when I was in the ninth grade. I was a part of the 1992 California State Champion team.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and I was looking in the stands for my father, and he wasn't even there. And this is me in the ninth grade, so I really was still a baby in a sense, and I just really just at that point I just said, okay. So from ninth to 12th grade, I had over 500. I had under over 50 52 full scholarships from universities, and I took the SAT, but I just scrabbled on it because I didn't know the severity of it because no one ever sat me down and talked to me about it. So when it was SAT times, I would just go in there, scrabble, and be the first one to get up out of here because I
Right.
was just doing A B C A B C A B C. Didn't care. So after that, I had a college come that was real interested in me, and that's where I really got upset with my father because it was Washington State University. They
Oh,
offered
yeah.
me a full ride scholarship to play football. I ran track too. They were offering for that as well. And what hurt me was that, because of the lack of support, I was watching Washington State playing the Rose Bowl. 2 years for me being, yeah, for me
Yeah.
being not going there where they were playing against Michigan. So I felt that I could have been a part of that. And then when I met my wife Trina, he kind of opened the wounds a little bit more when he told her that, he wished I would have went to college. I would have played in the NFL. And it kind of triggered me. It kind of triggered me because you're telling half
Of
of the
course.
story. You're telling people that you wish I would have been in NFL, and then he's watching people that my fellow friends that I played against in high school that made it to the NFL. And shout out to my friend Chad Morton. He went to USC and played in the NFL as well. But we dueled it out in track and field and in football and in high school. And when we seen him on TV and stuff, my dad used to always say, this that could have been me. That could have been me. But I never been a combative person anyway. I'm chill.
Right.
I don't try to be in conflict. I like to just let God handle it, man. Let God handle
Right.
it. So, you know, um, it was tough, man. It was tough, and it pretty much allowed me to be there for my son. And what I didn't receive, I never want my son not to feel that at all. Not being a hands-on father, not being a present father. So I started to coach my son, train my son, and while I was doing that, I was telling my son, man, I never got none of this. I never got none. Everything that you're getting from me, I never got none of
It
this.
was what you wish you had.
It was what, and I love doing it now. You know, it's healing me, and as well as I love being a father, man. I just never, and that's the question I always, ask. I even asked my queen that. How can he not wanted to be a father? You know, and I
That's a powerful question, though. Ray. Is that, and I know you said he's still with us today, but that relationship and conversation is not there. Is that a conversation or a question that you've ever asked him or thought about asking him? Or does it, I don't want to say it don't matter, but would it affect you right now, one way or the other, if he didn't answer?
I thought about that, but then I thought about that, and to be perfectly honest, you already know what his response is going to be. He doesn't know how to be one because I sit and watch him how he has the relationship with my kids. It started well, but then now my kids don't even feel like they have a grandfather.
So
You know,
even though you didn't have the relationship you desired, you didn't stop him from having or attempting a relationship with you. That's big of you, Ray. A lot of men, a lot of people, I can't even just say men, a lot of people would not have allowed that, right? So kudos to you, and the fact of, you're using what you were missing to change the lives and the narratives
yeah, yeah,
of those of others and those that are coming up. And I say that, and I have to give you your kudos, right? Because most people, everybody know, both my children lost their fathers at a young age. Matter of fact, their father passed away 15 months apart, right? My daughter
yeah,
and my son. Um, and my kids are 10 years apart. So my son was 5 when his father passed away. That ripe old age when the boy needs his father. I love my uncles. Don't get me wrong. I love my uncles. But the time in the years my son was coming up, my uncles could not relate to my son. So it was because of men like you, right, who started mentoring and things of that nature that gave my son the mentors that he needed, right? The ones that pushed him for the sports and that pushed him, to do better. Because as a woman, I can teach you the perception of what I think a man is, but I can't teach a boy how to be a man, right? I thought I did good with my daughter because my kids are 10 years apart. We was doing cheerleading and gymnastics and all the things.
yeah,
When it came to the boy, football, what?
yeah, yeah.
Wrestling, who? Right? Even to this day, people say, well, what's your favorite football team? And my statement is always the same. What uniform do my son have on? Don't ask me about the game. Don't ask me about the game. Don't ask me nothing. What position do he play? D-line. That was all I could tell you. D-line. What part of D-line? All of it.
Yeah,
Right. But
yeah.
I had to learn as well. So I want to tell you, if no one has never told you, thank you for what you're doing for all the other young men out there who either are in fatherless homes or the fathers are absent for whatever reason. And you are sowing that seed into them, letting them know that you have options. And just because that was what your foundation is showing, your foundation don't need to stay that way. So I personally want to tell you publicly, thank you for all that you do, especially in that wonderful city of Inglewood in Southern California, because Lord knows we need it, right? But you just had another,
I appreciate that.
You had another event you talked to. I don't know if it was your event or someone else's. You guys were doing haircuts in the community for young boys.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
was
coming
it?
up.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay. Tell us about that because that's something major. As a mom, don't ask me to cut no hair. I did not look. And when I first took my son to the barbershop, Ray, don't laugh at me, right? I took him to the barbershop. It was with the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. They were doing this thing for school and all the things, right? the purple and gold guys. Not a problem. I walked into the barbershop. We was great. I was sitting there. We was great. They started talking to my son. What is the protective mama gonna do? I'm gonna stand up and stand behind my son. He was like, "Man, what you doing? You talking to my kid?" He said, "We got him. Don't worry."
Yeah.
Huh? And he turned around and said, "Mama, you can go to the car. I'll be okay." Wait, go to the car?
You being overprotective. I know.
Right. So tell us about that event, because I understand that. Well, I found out then, right, that the barbershop for men and is for young boys is important, just like taking a young girl to a beauty salon. So tell us about that and what the people have to look forward to.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, it goes back to what I said about how, you know, your first impression is your best impression. Initially, it started off with, you know, a men's Father's Day brunch, but I wanted the young men to be a part of it as well, to see what real men look like. You know what, real men look like, and what mentors look like, what great leadership looks like. You know, so I have a men's brunch on June 13th at the Selah Lounge in Los Angeles, where I had the 100 show for my event. It's the same event place. It will be on June 13th. We will have free haircuts from 9 a.m. to 11:30. We'll also be catering as well. Some amazing breakfast, man. Shout out to my one of my good friends that's going to be doing the catering, as well as one of my good friends. As a matter of fact, the gentleman that I interviewed just last Saturday is going to be doing the free haircuts.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So and it goes back to what I always say, is that your character is more important than your reputation. You know, my character has been allowing me to be blessed with a lot of these people that I say, you know what, man, I'll come to your event and do free haircuts, man. And I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and take care of you. Oh, no. I'm just being blessed by being blessed to be a part of something that you have going on. So, yeah, you know, we have that. I have some amazing speakers. I have a main speaker, which is my brother-in-law, Elder Will Hatcher. The flyer will be going out next week. We just want to make sure everything is intact. But it's just sitting there to talk about a group of men, talking about men, you know, taking back their rightful place. You know, in the community.
Jesus, yes. Yes.
In the community, as well as, you know, at home. You know,
Ray, you got a microphone in here somewhere, because baby, let me tell you, that has been a hot topic in conversation for the last 2 weeks, but we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you know, it seems that at home and in the community that men has lost their weight. You know, we wake up every morning and we put both foot to the ground and press down on that concrete, man, and we just serve and provide, and we still don't have a woosah day. So this is a woosah day for men to just come in, fellowship, and like my pastor say, show your scars. Show your
part. Yes.
That it allows people to show their scars where they don't be judged, they won't be talked about. It just allows them to just show their scars. Men finally, you know. Because man, listen, it's hard out here for a man.
It is, and you know, and I laugh when I say it, but internally I'm crying, right? Because I have, my son just turned 23, and he is, by God's grace, you know, God mercy, he's not in jail, he's not on drugs, he's doing productive stuff, right? I have a 7-year-old grandson, right? And I have some positive and some strong men, you know, in my inner circle. And I pray for these men just as much as I pray for my girls, because baby, the target's on y'all backs when y'all walk out them doors every day, right? You get, and I say this because men, especially our Black and brown men, that barbershop, I realized that barbershop scene or that circle or village of men is important because you guys need that moment to be able to take that S off your chest and just be men, to have a vulnerable moment because you get beat down in the world, right? Of all these expectations of all the different things that's going on that you're supposed to. And then if you don't have the right support system at home, you now have this woman or significant other at home that's expecting you to keep this S on your chest at home when all you want to be able to do is come home and relax for a minute, right? And this is something I tell women all the time. No, I am not married yet. However, one thing I do know, you cannot be combative with that man when he comes home. He get beat up outside in the street all the time. Be his comfort zone and his safe space and learn how to communicate. If you don't know nothing else, figure out what your man's love language is. If it's a video game, a cup of coffee, a nice fedora, whatever it is, right? And I know, and people say, how can you talk about me? I'm not married. I know that. But baby, I take lessons from women that have been married 5, 15, 20 years plus. My mother was married to her husband until God called him home. And I watched them date every day. Do you hear me? I was like, for real? Is this what we do? Because if you look at society say, if you done been married 7 years, you don't date. It's just a routine. You know, you come in, you do what you do. I watched my mother and stepfather date every day. I was like, wow. So this is what it's all about, right? So when I say this, I say thank you because I hear you give Mrs. Butler props all the time. And she does the same thing to you. She, baby, when I say she lifts you up publicly, I'm like, baby, there is you. When you see one, you see one. When you see one, you see one. There is not a time I don't see one without the other. Yeah. Right. So having that safe space and being men.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, that was the idea that I came up with. And again, and shout out to my queen-ager. That's what I call her now. She has a new name.
Oh, what is it?
Queen-ager. My queen and my manager. My queen and my manager.
Keep it out.
So shout out to her. Oh yeah. You know, I remember when I first presented the podcast to her and she was like, walk in it, go for it, you know, and that's what I love about her, man. She's always been supportive. And you were right about the dates. That's very important. We actually just came from a date before the show just now. We probably going another date after this, probably go check out the Michael Jackson movie or something like that. But yeah, we always try to make time for ourselves, you know, because like I said, she's more at home than I am because she works from home. So, you know, she deals with the kids more than I do. So I know she needs like a woosah or a break and whatnot. And I make sure that she has that, you know, I make sure that we have time for each other. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You hit it right on the nose with that man thing. Men do go through so much, do a daily affair, man. We just want to come home and just woosah. But then here's the other flip side to that. A lot of people are always trying to tell somebody that you can't give no opinion on nothing because you are a divorcee or something like that. Well, being a divorcee is the reason why I'm actually giving you some kind of advice. You know, so you might want to take it.
Yes, because you did. And I was going to bring that up because you are a divorcee and now you have a blended family.
Yeah. And that's what I want to encourage someone, man. Don't let divorce, you know, just stop your dating life. Stop, you know, don't think that love doesn't exist. You know,
so
a lot of people
is love after divorce.
Man, listen, I am truly in love.
Oh, come on.
In love. And I have been divorced twice. And this is my true marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is my true marriage. So yeah, there is love and there is in love after divorce. So do not get that twisted at all. There is in love after a divorce or divorces.
Ooh,
You know,
multiples.
but
Okay.
make sure though, make sure that every divorce you've learned something. Make sure that you get yourself together before you try to love someone else again. Make sure
So,
you love yourself more than you loved yourself when you got divorced.
and that
You
was
know,
going to be my question. So, you said you've been divorced twice. How did you know that this was the one? This was your wife or your marriage. This was the marriage for you.
because I found a grown woman.
Because you did what?
Because I found a grown woman.
You gonna have to explain that one, sir.
I have no problem doing that. And this is no shade to anyone that I have been married to before. First of all, I don't even in my dating scene and in my marriage scene, I don't do replays.
Okay.
If we didn't work, I don't double back. I don't do none of that. And it's just me. I'm not bashing nobody that to give people second, third chances or whatnot. If we wasn't able enough to correct it the first time, it's not worth it.
Okay.
And that's just how I feel. Me personally, I'm not speaking for no one else, but if it got to where we had to sign papers and serve papers and all that, and then you want to try to do a double back, that's okay. It's
Doing it.
okay. That was our season. That was our
Okay.
season. But to go back to what I was saying about a grown woman, see, when you with a grown woman, when things get heated in the kitchen, people don't put on grown women don't put on running shoes. You know,
Mm,
a lot of people put on running shoes when it get real hot in the kitchen.
they do.
You know, and that means that if you're doing that, that means you really didn't appreciate and listen to the facts when it said for better or for worse. Now, I'm
That
not
part.
speaking of better or for worse. We're not talking about, abuse. We're just talking about just having some kind of conflict in the house where we just don't agree,
Okay.
you know. So if we can't get past that and you just strictly go to running and saying you want a divorce, then number one, you wasn't ready. Number two, you don't have a right village in your circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And number three, you didn't have God in it.
Ooh, that's that good one right there. That
Yeah,
say that. What was that third one? One more time.
you didn't. Actually, we're gonna flip that. Number
Okay.
one,
Okay.
you didn't have God in it. Number one, you didn't have God in it. Number two, you did not respect the vows at
Mm-hmm.
all, at all. So that's where we're at right now, man. Me and my queen, man. We I'm not saying, and if anyone tells you that they have a perfect marriage, they're lying.
You know, I was gonna ask that question. Is it
They're
perfect?
lying. But the unperfectness that me and my queen have is amazing for both of us, man. We embrace it. You
Okay.
got to embrace the good times and the bad times. That's why it's called growing together, getting old together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what that's all about. I mean, I don't know, man. I always said marriage has lost its value. I feel that those 30, 40, 50-year-old marriages, um, they're here and there. Everybody is
I
just
agree.
trying. Everybody just want to just put their running shoes on and get what they can out of the marriage. Really ain't concerned about really being in love. You know, and one thing about that I love about my queen, man, money is last on our list.
Okay.
What I mean
Okay.
by that is a lot of marriages fold because of money. I'm gonna give you a quick insight. Me and when I was dating my wife was making well money. She was working for the gas company, and we were
Okay.
just dating. And she was there for over 20 something years. And at the time, I was working for a Fortune 500 company. I was making six figures at the time. She got laid off. We were dating. She got laid off. She took that real hard, and I went scripture on her. I told her, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So get all your crying out now, not knowing that I was saying that same passage to myself.
Back to yourself.
2 weeks later, I got laid off.
Wow.
So we both laid off, and we got a wedding coming up. Yeah. So while I was getting married, I was unemployed.
While you were getting married. And so
While
you're planning the rest of your wedding day.
I was married, walking while my wife was coming to me down the aisle. Ray was unemployed.
Whoa.
So this is why I say when you dating a grown woman, she could have just left. Oh, you're a deadbeat. You can't even provide for me and nothing like that.
Right.
But see, this is what marriage is all about. That was a test before the test.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, that was a test for both of us. Were we really going to continue to get married and we both were unemployed?
So let me ask you, Ray.
Absolutely.
How long have you been married now?
We are going on 5 years in October.
Yes, come on, 5. Oh, we do. Look, now I'm about to be
That's a
nosy.
big
Are we doing anything special?
because, you know, that is special. Man, you know what? You are really asking some questions tonight.
I'm finna look, I'm taking notes. I'm trying to get to where you are. First of all, I need to be able to get down the aisle. So then I can come back to you in 5 years and say, Ray, guess what? I took good notes. I'm about to hit 5 years. I'm just saying.
No, you know what? 5 years is very monumental. My 5 years to me is like 20 years. And one reason why I say that is because both of my marriages only lasted 4. So this 5th year, I'm gonna do it big for my queen.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it real big for her, man. Because I know I could be a handful, man. With her, And that's another thing, man gotta be able to, really say and be transparent with that, man. Men can be a handful too, man. And being that she's been my queen and she's been my manager, she's taken on that duty as well. I know, and she got all kind of other stuff going on. I know it could be overwhelming sometimes, man. But one thing I love about her, she never tells me no. And I never tell her no. And anything she wants me to do.
She telling on you, Ray. She said 2 handfuls.
Yeah. Hey, we were just talking about it today that I might need to go to therapy, and I'm okay with that. We was talking about that, about, she feels that I need to go to therapy in regards to my childhood trauma with my dad. And in sincereness, if we can be transparent, a lot of men, feel like they are weak. They feel like they would be looked at in a crazy way if they go to therapy. But to be perfectly honest with you, man, it's needed. It's needed.
100% needed. Mental health is a big thing, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And I tell my Black and brown men all the time, please go talk to somebody. What happens in your house no longer have to stay in your house. You can go talk it out to somebody, right? That non-judgmental person. It's just to give, if nothing else, it gives you someone else that's actually hearing you. They're not just listening, or they're not just hearing, they're listening to what you're saying, right? And don't, and I know you said this is something that you and the missus was just recently speaking about. As you're looking for a therapist or a counselor or whatever you're looking for, don't stick with the first one, right? It's okay to shop around. So if you go to the first one and that one not listening the way you need them to, or they trying to push meds down your throat, thank you, but no thanks. Let's go try another one. Find one that you connect with, because they have to be able to hear you. They have to be able to listen to you. And they also need to be able to understand your language, because there are some people or some therapists, and they all may be good in their own right. But if they don't understand your background or even part of your culture, they can take your verbiage, right? Oh, this person is hostile. They have this disease or they have this ailment. No, I'm just angry right now. I just need to get it out because of people like you that's telling me I need to keep it bottled up. So definitely shop around for the therapist that works for you. Like real talk, if you don't do nothing else.
I appreciate that. And you know, I'll be honest with you. If I could be transparent, man, your platform has helped me out tremendously. The what's in your cup, even when, you know, like I said, I watch you so much. I know your whole little spiel. You know, hello, beautiful people. You know,
Yes.
we're just doing a mental check in. You know,
Yeah.
and I love all that. You know, I be there and I be listening, man. And you have been hitting it on the nose. I recommend your platform to so many people because it's therapeutic, man. It's therapeutic. And, you definitely have a gift of, you know, being a therapy for the mind, for the people that are going through things, man. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I listen to a lot of what you say, and it has helped me very much, very much. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
You are very welcome. And we're going to talk about platforms because you got a family platform of your own, right? And we're going to talk about it because we're talking about Chill with Teddy Ray. First of all, everybody that's listening, I need each and every one of you. Don't go right now. Wait till after we finish. I'm gonna need y'all to go. And I said y'all, and each one of y'all know I know proper English, but right now this is family. So it's y'all. I'm gonna need y'all to go search for Chill with Teddy Ray right here on Facebook, right? Because I know we on Facebook, YouTube, and some other things. But go find him on Facebook because Chill with Teddy Ray has his talk show and his podcast. But I say that because Chill with Teddy Ray is not just on Facebook anymore. Chill with Teddy Ray has hit the airwaves, baby. Let's talk about it. And I know this one only shows one, but you're now on 2 radio stations, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Come on.
Man, that goes back to the word character. I'm gonna give you an insight about how that came about. There's a gentleman that I'm real close with, and shout out to Pastor Olashe Banjo. He actually was on this radio station, and he still is on. And I was sitting on the couch one Sunday, and he called me, and he was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I was like, "I'm good. I'm blessed." And he was like, "Hey, I've been on this radio station for a while now. I have a slot that I'm giving up, and your name was the first name that came up to my mind, and I wanted to see if you was interested." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm gonna call you tomorrow on Monday, and I'm gonna call you with the radio station on, and I'm gonna step down. But while I'm stepping down, I'm presenting you, Chill with Teddy Ray, to this radio station." So I said, "My God."
My God.
I didn't believe it. So I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was just, you know, pranking me or whatnot. And cause he's a prankster. He's a prankster. So I was like, all right. So, you know, the call came, and I'm listening to him stepping down, and I can hear the radio station kind of sad or whatnot about him stepping down. But he was like, but on the flip side, I have someone on the phone, you know, Chill with Teddy Ray. I've been on this platform. He is growing. You know, it fits and everything and whatnot. So I'm talking to the gentleman, the radio station, and you know, initially we were supposed to start July 4th, and because that was going to be his last.
July in the future.
Yeah,
We ain't made it there yet.
I know. So he said that he was stepping down. He was going to do his last show July 4th, and I was going to come on and do mine and start it off.
Okay.
So after that phone call, the radio station calls me back and says, "We don't want to wait.
Come on, God. Come on.
Do you want to go ahead and start next week?" So I said, "Yeah, let's go, man." I was like, "Perfect." So, we did that, and shout out to the family members, man. The family members, we get a report of how well we're doing monthly, and the first month, Chill with Eddie Ray is already in the top 5.
Come on, yes,
Yeah,
yes, come on.
yeah. So then, my wife, my queen, um, she works out. She deals with the radio station because she's my manager. So she told me that they wanted to come out with SoCal Radio. SoCal Radio wanted to pick me up. So I said, "Hey, babe,
You
you
do,
talking to me.
right?
Yeah, what we expect. Number one, we want to make sure that they were believers. 'Cause I'm
Right,
not jumping on any radio station. I don't care how good it is, how good of a decision and choice that it is.
right.
If you're not a believer, I'm not going. If you don't play gospel music, I don't want to go on there.
It has to be
You
in
know,
alignment.
so,
In
yeah.
alignment.
So that was the first thing she asked them, and they said yeah. And here we are today. My wife has did some amazing things thus far, man. We actually got uh, we actually got apparel now.
Oh, come on, chill with Teddy Ray. What they say? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, family? I
Yeah.
love. Okay, so
On the back,
I need,
it has my
I need
favorite
one.
scripture, which is Psalms
Psalms
46 and 10,
46. Yeah,
which
I
is
done heard
be
you say that.
still and know that I am God. These are going on sale for 25. We have 10 now available. There's 5 2X's and 5 3X's. We will be having green coming out soon as well. But yeah, just also my queen, she created me a YouTube channel now. So you can actually subscribe to my YouTube channel now as well under Chill with Teddy Ray, the same icon that's on Facebook. You can subscribe on there as well.
Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna take Facebook off, and we're gonna just say this is just across social media, period, right? Uh-huh. So we elevating, we elevating we elevating, we are growing, we are having increased territories,
Yeah.
right? All because you took that leap of faith and said yes. How does
Yeah.
that feel? How does that feel? You know, you are a man of God, and you know that well, I don't know about you. I don't ever see the big picture. I don't see the full picture ahead, right? There are times where I can barely see the step in front of me, right? But being able to take that step and then that next one and then that next one, and now you done got this whole, you know, universe that then opened up to you in the matter of a few weeks.
I know, ain't
How
that
does that
crazy?
feel?
Well, shout out to two men that are no longer here that were very dear to my heart, and they inspired this platform. They both were guests on the show. They're both family to me. My uncle, Reverend Roosevelt Tuggle, which the podcast and radio station is in their honor. Chilled with Teddy Ray is in honor of my uncle Roosevelt Tuggle as well as James Simmons. Those two were on my show, and they both have graduated to be with God. They saw this vision before I can even see this vision.
Okay.
The last conversation I had with James was that this is going to be international. So to see where it is now, it's mind blowing, to be perfectly honest with you. When I get DMs from Africa, when I get DMs from Kenya, it's like, are you guys playing
Like
with me? You
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
But
It's like, hold on, let me read this message again, right? Let me see if
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
real. Yeah.
And
But
then
see you.
being in alignment with my first lady, Siobhan Codio. She told me that my yes has weight. I
Oh,
didn't understand what that meant, but I understand it now. My yes has opened up so many doors for me. Um, my yes has actually been, a pruning season as well. It
Yeah,
has made me
absolutely.
lose some real close friends that, were not for me.
Right,
You know, just in this season, they're not for me.
right.
I can't say if they'll be for me later on in life, but right now in the season that I'm in, they're not for me, and I'm okay with that. And your audience is watching right now, have to be okay when God is elevating you. You have to be okay with being in a isolated season.
Oh, that was hard, Teddy. That was
Yeah,
hard, boy.
yeah,
You know that baby,
yeah,
look, that
yeah,
isolation
yeah.
and silence moments was like, come on, God. Really? He was like, yep, sit down.
Yeah. And when he sits you down, he's showing you yourself and the people that you connected to as well.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to be okay with those visions that he show you,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not okay with it, you're not going to grow.
At all.
You're just going
At
to be
all.
stagnated. Life's going to continue to be lifing, but you're just going to be stagnated. And then you're going to say, well, what about me, God? Well, I
Yeah,
tried to show you yourself, but you was disobedient.
right.
I
You
told
didn't
you
want
to
to
let this
move.
thing, yeah, I told you to let this thing go, but you didn't want to do it.
Right. You was
I told
holding on
you,
for dear life.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
and and the thing is, people, family members, stop ignoring the negative signs. If the red flag is red, the red flag is red.
But
Stop
they think they trying to
ignoring
make it green though, Daddy.
it.
They trying to make it
No,
green.
no, no, no,
But it looked
no.
good.
I don't care. It
But it
can
got
look good. It
potential.
can smell good. It can taste good. It can feel good. No, no, no.
Are you sure about that? No. Are
Be
you sure about
positive about that. No, I'll even go capital N, capital O. No.
Oh, I can't. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's okay to use the word no sometimes.
Yeah.
Stop
It is.
using yes all the time. A lot of your yeses have got you in the position that you are in right now.
Baby,
Start
say it.
using the no. Start using the no.
One said he said what he said. The missus said preach. No, no, and no.
No, 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 no. I mean, it's all there in front of you, and you still saying yeah. No.
So Ted, I
Just
have to
no.
ask you. I have to ask you because God is all over you, right?
Mm,
Without you even saying a word, He shows up in you, and just like you said, your character and who you are and all the things, right? But
mm.
I have to ask: have you always been a man of God in this magnitude? Let me in this magnitude, because being from where we are, we grew up in the church, right? We grew up with prayer, and but somewhere along the lines, I don't know about you, I strayed away. I did, you know. I need to find him for myself, right, and not just what was pushed down my throat, right? So I had to find my way back. However, have you always been in your relationship with God like it is now, or did you had to do some adjustments and kind of find your way again?
So I'm glad you asked that question. That's why I'm so grateful and thankful that I am um, a believer of a forgiving God.
Mm-hmm.
I questioned when my mom passed away. I actually thought about just giving up on religious. Period.
Okay.
Because I felt that God took something away from me that loved me the way I needed to be loved. The one person that I felt was for me, Team Ray. And then I got back into it. From a child, I've always been in church. My
Yeah.
mom and my grandmother kept me in church all day Sundays.
all day.
All day Sundays. And shout out to my childhood church home, man, Gethsemane Christian Love Baptist Church in Los Angeles, California, where
Really?
yeah, where the late great pastor L.C. Jackson was
So
my
we
pastor.
probably crossed paths a whole lot and didn't know it, but go ahead.
Yeah, that was my pastor. That was my church home, man. As a child, you know, and then being in the divorces, I got to a point where I said, you know, maybe I'm just not marriage material.
Mm.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just not marriage material. But at the same time, I'm gonna be transparent with you. It even goes to where, just go ahead and fast forward to the chill with Teddy Ray. I was still doing a lot of worldly things when this first happened. When it first started, you know, I used to smoke weed and drink before the show.
Okay.
And God told me that I couldn't use you fully until you're empty.
Ooh.
So, you know, what was supposed to be a hobby became a ministry to me. You know,
Should.
so yeah, I'm just grateful and thankful that God didn't take this blessing from me with my disobedience of, you know, trying to do the worldly things. And, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke anymore. I don't desire to drink or smoke anymore. I don't
Mm-hmm.
desire to be around people that smoke anymore. You know, so, you know, this has been a journey of being an overcomer.
Right.
I can tell someone else that is fighting that demon of alcohol and
Well,
fighting that
you've been
demon of
there.
drugs. Yeah, because you have to also remember, you know, like I'm very open with my queen. My family trait has nothing but alcoholics and drug addiction. So all of my uncles and aunties are gone now because of one or the other. So I choose not to be, you know, be the chain breaker, if that makes sense. You
Yes,
know,
yes. Come on, change the narrative, sir. You know I'm all about breaking chains. We ain't passing nothing down. Not that. We changing all that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, you know, I know what my family trait brings, man. So I wanted to be a chain breaker, man. So now I'm just serving, man. That's my ultimate goal, is just to serve. That's where
Okay.
I am. But yeah, it's always been in me. I just needed a push. And to be perfectly honest with you, my queen has been a great push because she is so powerful, man. I don't know if you have interviewed her yet, but my
No,
goodness.
but she coming. I'm gonna have to do a whole couples
Oh
panel
my
because
goodness.
she gonna have to come on and teach us single women how to sit down somewhere sometime, and that is okay. Because I remember when I talked, we talked briefly for a moment. Matter of fact, it was on one of your shows. She talked about how when she first saw you, you was not her preference. But we're gonna say that for another time because I'm gonna need her input on that. That she was not your preference, but baby, you are
That whole story,
100% her preference and some at this point.
the whole story was funny because, you know, we met during the pandemic, and she was wearing a mask, and I told her, I said, well, before we even exchange numbers, I need to take that mask off. I need to see what I'm working with. That's what I need to see.
Teddy Ray, Teddy Ray, Teddy Ray, for real.
I'm just being honest. She'll tell you. She'll tell you. I'm just being honest. I need to see what that looked like before we even exchange numbers. I need to make sure that you're a
She didn't
diva.
already put it out there. She said, I would definitely love to talk about going from single to married life. Trina, and you've publicly said it. So when I reach out to you and tell you this panel is ready, don't give me no pushback.
Oh no, she
Because see,
ready.
now I look, I'm gonna use my hood language, my
Mhm.
ebonics. I got a few ministers I can call on right now that's gonna have this whole panel lit up. I'm just saying. Okay, we're gonna do it all from the west coast to the central and then some. So okay, I'm gonna
No,
stop. I'm gonna be good.
she's a powerhouse, man. You know, she makes me feel like I need to step my game up spiritually, man. She's a powerhouse for real.
Got it. Well, you know what, Teddy? You know, you realize we done been talking for more than 60 minutes, right? I told you this was going to be the show of all shows to end season 3 on. I want to first again, I know she said the time is different. So let us know, first of all, where we can find Chill with Teddy Ray on what day and what time. And Miss Trina, if you can put it in the comment section so I can bring it up, that would be great. But Teddy Ray, where can we find it?
So the time changed because of the time changing. So it's going to go back to 9 a.m. once the time changes again. Right now it's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Block 105 FM, as well as SoCal Radio. Also, like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel under the same icon on YouTube under Chill with Teddy Ray. And you can also, like I said, if you want to pre-order your shirts, please, DM me or DM my queen and let her know the size, and we'll also submit the Cash App and where to send it to as well. Again, I have some amazing things going on as well. Like I said, I have a Men of Valor that'll be on a Zoom panel. That will be a 3-day affair from June 17th to the 19th at 4:30 p.m. As well as my Father's Day brunch that is coming up on June 13th. Free haircuts will be at 9 a.m. to 11, and then 11:30, and then we'll go ahead and start from 12 to 4, where we'll have free haircuts. We'll have some food for your stomach, and then some food for your soul as well.
Oh, yes, baby.
With some amazing speakers, and just come and just relax and bring your son. If you don't have a son, bring someone that you're mentoring.
Right.
We welcome all. So I'm excited about those two events. And yeah, Teddy Ray is on the move, man. Teddy Ray is on the move.
Well, I know Teddy Ray is on the move because What's in Your Cup Conversations is on the move. And we have to bring the live broadcast back to the city. You know that, right? We are going to work up something, even if it's just a special event, because Consuela Nicole with What's in Your Cup Conversations, we are going to do a mashup with the Chill with Teddy Ray family.
Come on now.
We're going to have to do it in the woods somewhere. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know the Monarch ain't there no more, but we're going to have to figure out somewhere in the woods.
Be there. The Monarch is right here.
We're going to have to do this mashup, and we're going to make it work, right? So until then, Teddy Ray, if the people don't remember nothing else that you have said and shared, what are the 2 things you want them to take away from you today?
Love yourself first before you love someone else. Love yourself first before you love someone else. Get yourself right so things that you get together can be tight.
Oh, see, now you're dropping bars. So you got, on that note, guys, on that note, What's in Your Cup Conversations Season 3 is officially a wrap. However, What's in Your Cup Conversations on location, we have a special announcement coming up in 2 days. So make sure you stay tuned, because we are going on special location to a special location that's going to ruffle some feathers, disrupt some things, shake things up, and it's going to make quite a few people mad. But I'm all about ruffling feathers. They call me the Storm and Sanctuary for a reason. But you already know that, right? Right? So on that note, everybody, thank you for joining us for another wonderful, amazing season. Teddy Ray, thank you for being my very special guest. We will be in touch to make sure we get this mashup done. Please make sure you tag me and share those flyers for the Men of Valor event, as well as the barbershop event. And the shirt, because I need to get my shirt, okay?
Will do.
Next time, I love you for life, and I'll talk to you soon.
God bless. I love you guys.
Bless you.